Welcome to this video on AWS Core Services. We'll provide a practical guide to the AWS database, compute, IAM, and storage domains, covering architecture, provisioning, and security best practices for cloud engineers. AWS offers 5 fully managed database services, each purpose-built for specific workloads. These include RDS for relational databases, Aurora for high performance, DynamoDB for serverless NoSQL, Elasticache for in-memory caching, and Redshift for petabyte-scale data warehousing. Amazon RDS is a managed relational database service. AWS handles provisioning, patching, backups, and scaling for engines like MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, and SQL Server. A key security best practice is to always deploy RDS in private subnets and restrict access to application security groups, never exposing databases directly to the internet. Provisioning RDS involves steps such as creating a VPC with public and private subnets, configuring a DB subnet group across multiple AZs for high availability, configuring RDS with the correct engine and security group, and finally, launching a jump box for connection and management within the VPC. The Elastic Load Balancer, or ELB, distributes traffic across EC2 instances for high availability and scalability. AWS manages provisioning and scaling. There are 3 types: Application Load Balancer for HTTP, HTTPS routing, Network Load Balancer for high throughput TCP UDP traffic, and Gateway Load Balancer for routing traffic through virtual appliances. The Application Load Balancer operates at Layer 7, routing HTTP requests using listener rules. It supports path-based routing, where rules with a higher priority, like speed rule, are evaluated before the default rule that returns a 404. IAM is a global service for controlling access to AWS resources. The root user creates IAM users and delegates permissions via policies. The core concepts are users, groups, policies, and roles. Prefer groups over individual user assignments for central management. There are 3 types of IAM policies: AWS-managed policies, customer-managed policies, and inline policies. Policies are JSON documents with key sections like SID, effect, action, resource, and principle. Remember to prefer groups for centralized permission management. Amazon S3, or Simple Storage Service, is a serverless, managed object store. Objects are organized into globally unique buckets. Public access is blocked by default and should only be enabled explicitly via bucket policies. It is recommended to use bucket policies for access control instead of deprecated ACLs. In summary, use RDS in private subnets for databases. For compute, use ALB with path-based routing. For IAM, follow least privilege principles with groups and roles. Finally, S3 buckets are private by default. Use bucket policies for access control.